Kennedy Delta Echo Spam, the Oakland Bay Bridge and the flats. In New York, Michigan, dark barge Hagar and a flat barge. Thank you. Unit 21 aboard the Kodiak, preparing to depart the Richmond Long Wharf bound for Benicia 4.
How you doing? Hey, Brian. Nice to meet you. Henry. Brian, pleasure.
Brian, Andy.
How you doing?
So the purpose of today's meeting is to go out and take a look at the Marinship area from the water. That's essentially it. Walking tour. And when Charlie comes, I think he's about to be here. He might be able to fill you in more on what he's looking for. Henry is a part of the consulting team, and Charlie also is part of the consulting team.
Doing an analysis of a specific plan, reaching out to the community. We interviewed 93 people to get their perspective on how they think the zoning and the land uses should be modified, if at all, on the Marinship. So the goal today,
at the land from
the interface between the land and the water. Yeah,
gotcha.
That's the most important.
See how land is being used.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
and
more
the perspective, you know, I think the management team, the city, wanted us to get a perspective of the land from the water side, since Sausalito is so dependent on it.
Okay. Easily done. We can take care of you.
I don't know if you've got any.
I've got some mapping
Okay.
that maybe will get us to, I don't know if we'll be able to see anything
Right.
from where they are, but I do have mapping that shows where the outfalls are supposed to be. My understanding is that a lot of the storm drainage facilities are not actually within easements, so there's always this sort of maintenance issue related to getting access to them if they're not within property that the city's really supposed to have access to.
That's where it is, or here's a pier or a dock with particular infrastructure issues, or that's falling apart, or that this one was last repaired, whenever. Or, anything you know about the stuff right along the water.
Okay. Well, I don't have a lot. As far as public docks, I don't think the city has any docks down in that area. I guess this is a public dock, the core dock, to some extent.
Isn't there one T-dock somewhere where the anchor outs come to shore? Or is
That's over in Turney.
Okay.
That's at the Turney location, which is southerly from here.
Okay.
The city does not have any stormwater pump stations. There is a sanitary sewer pump station at the end of Coloma.
Right.
And there's also a large open channel that drains the Coloma Street Basin out into the bay at that location. And upstream of the open channel, there's I think it's a 60-inch diameter storm drain. And we have issues the city has issues out there in relationship to both subsidence, the ground settling differently in different locations, and
Yeah. So anywhere you can show me like where material's been added to deal with water infiltration or subsidence or anything.
I don't know if we'll be able to see anything like that because that's all private. This is all private out there. I don't know what we're gonna see.
Okay.
Honestly.
Cool.
We won't be able to get where it's flood office and stuff.
Okay.
Just because it's.
We're already a couple feet down.
Yeah, we're already.
High tide was at 9:30. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll sort it. All aboard! Man, train track. That's the easiest place to get on.
Hey, Sean, hop in here and do that. That way they can walk that side.
Traffic 21 Kodiak,
Otherwise,
Long Wharf for the 4.
hold on to something. You guys are gonna stand up there, hold on to something.
Right there. Did Curtis call you back and then all of a sudden they're moving out here? No. Don't go down to Napa.
There is an there's an outfall.
Well, yeah, we gotta go all the way to Mike's place.
A little bit further down. Yeah, I think it's Coloma. Coloma comes in right there.
How far can we get in, you think, with the water?
This is all dredged because of the marina.
All right.
I'm not worried about that.
All right, let's go in. Yeah, let's go in.
I'll come all the way down at the end, so this is basin 4 is what they call it, liquid basin 4. in like right at the tip of Colombo?
I don't know. Our last depth reading was about 8 feet at the channel, so this will be probably about that. That's the only thing we're nervous about is because our depth finder is not cooperating, so it's not working all the time. It's all dredge, yeah.
Vortex is dredging here.
Huh?
Vortex.
Did you sign up for this today?
Span the whole distance?
I organized it.
Or did you?
I was told by the committee, which is a couple,
The fact that they've got they're covering
Marin.
3 or 4 sides there makes them.
So this is just to see if it's being underused
Well,
or
yeah.
overused? Or?
Down
It's just for
the-
that, basically for the consultants to get educated on what this area looks like.
Actually, and that's an open
Because
channel.
right now
I don't
this
know
is
how close
all
you get.
marine
It's
ships,
an
so
open
you
channel.
can't
We
as
can
it
get
has
in pretty
daylight.
close to anything in here.
This is as close as we're going to get. We were over towards Coloma.
Right. Back there.
Well, actually, Coloma's further that way. Right now, we could be about even. So this is Varda Landing.
Body shop is low point. There's like a little.
So where we're at right now is it's Varda Landing, which which butts up to it's really back end of Coloma. If Coloma went straight, it'd run into Varda Landing.
Good in the back.
So I'll let you know a little bit about that Coloma Street outfall. The box channel, box culverts, in need of help. So it's one of these projects that we probably need to either reconstruct or provide enough maintenance so that it's shored back up. Also, there's a lot of infiltration in the existing storm drain system out there. It's not real tight, so as the tide comes up, the pipes fill up. And so at high tides, water comes out, say at Heath. That's a really a local low. And the city installed a flap gate on a side drain.
I saw that. There's a whole new DI on the side of the street there, yeah.
And that's cut back on the amount of flooding, but still, when we get to the real high tides, because the system is not tight, the water comes up into the system, into the storm drain system upstream of that flap gate. Flap gate it keeps the tide out, but as it builds up behind it, there's nothing going on. So to eliminate that, I mean, you could construct a stormwater pump station to pump everything out.
Well, that body shop property has its own little lift station there.
A lot of those, I believe, a number of those properties have some pumps basically that discharge out onto Gate 5, and you can see their pipes.
And I noticed they've also done a lot of building up little walls around them.
Do they? Okay.
Like around the corner of Heath, and then the property across the street, the little office building has like a series of walls, and they actually have places in them, like where the cars come in and out, where they actually have a piece that goes in to gate it off. So if you had to rate the city-owned infrastructure priorities in terms of what to fix right now, is that Coloma?
I don't know how high that is.
Forgetting for this for the Marinship only, like stuff in the Marinship. I mean, like as opposed to having the material to bring all of the land level above a certain height.
It's certainly less expensive.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, to flood-proof the area, which is maybe what you're speaking about right there, you'd have to. I mean, you'd raise the whole site, but it's subsiding, so you put dirt on, it's going to go down. Yeah. So what? Flood walls, levees around. That's.
Would more flap gate systems help, or do you think? Because of the strength of the side and the storm surge.
Well, the flap gate keeps the stormwater, or keeps the flood waters out of the storm drain system. But if the ground is going down, eventually the water just comes up against higher up as the ground comes down, or at the same level if the ground's going down.
Some are from.
I don't know if there's a priority to look into building flood walls or levees around here, but that's a big to do. That'd be very large projects. Yeah, yeah.
Big stingray. This swam under our boat. Probably 3 feet wide. You're not going to be able to see much from here. You've got all the Varda Landing houseboats and stuff in between, and we can't go back in there because that's all mud flats. We'll get stuck. Even at high tide, there's not much there. If you need us to, we can always park this and you guys can walk over.
You know, we went to KKMI the other day, and they have a system. They got this screen. We'll get behind you guys.
Sure.
Screen. They got a concrete bulwark to protect it from sea level change.
We're looking at the juxtaposition between the Corps' debris removal operation and the park area next door.
Well, above the knee wall, they've got to protect from rising water. They've got a snow screen type setup, and then there's they have a cantilevered system where they can raise that even higher when they're working on boats, because that's one of the things.
Just for visual screen?
Well, it's for particulate matter as well.
See, one of the issues raised here was the filtration into the water, which is why the booms are there. Andy, are those booms there pretty much all the time?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they're there a lot. They're doing that kind of work. That being the core, right?
Yeah.
The forward operator.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a couple comments during the interview process that people thought that there must be a better place for the debris removal and disposition work. So Andy, are all these boats out here liveaboards, or some of them they pay for storage and leave them here? Or?
You know, I can't answer that. I have no idea.
Someone on that. It's one of those concrete hull things.
Boats out here instead of putting them in the marina. They don't really come crazy. I mean, some of the people, like this guy in this white boat's been out here for 40 something years. It's kind of crazy.
But it was winning for a minute. I know, right? I just want to back up and turn a little bit. That was good. I'm glad you saw that line. I'm a terrible first mate. How's that? So, how do you think? In here?
Possibly the one that discharges from spring.
Yeah, this is probably one of the cleaner ones, that's for sure.
And the one at Coloma is the only one
Got the,
for which work has been done recently.
You're asking or you're telling me?
I'm asking.
That's the one where the city did install the side drain has the flap gate. So these other ones, I'm not. Who knows when the last time they were working?
But they all have the same issue, right? It's just that Coloma is the worst spot for the infiltration. From
Coloma has an issue because of the subsidence right there and the businesses that are affected by that land subsidence.
But I mean, we have puddles forming at high tide other places in the.
I presume it. Yeah, I'm sure that if the water's getting high enough, that it may a backup out at the storm drain catch basin.
Brian, can we also just take a little quick turn around past the garage and just this area? I just want to look at like the end of the point here by the garage and yeah.
Galilee is more of a. No, this is not.
Is I wouldn't expect
Schoonamaker?
It might
Schoonamaker?
be Schoonamaker. Schoonamaker's to our port side.
the fancy part.
Yeah.
Looking in Sausalito though. The big thing is right now. See that channel marker right there? Heading east of that. No, not even that.
This is a nice facility.
You got lots of room. If I have to push off, I'll push off.
Are we disembarking? Are we disembarking?
Just let it touch. Say, and then push the front end off.
Go around, like around to the beach, and then come back out through the grounds. I just want to look at it from kind of straight up, maybe 100 yards out or something. How often you guys out on the lake? I know.
I won't. form the steering committee to bring on a consultant team and work with the consultant team to analyze the specific plan, and to get to go reach out to the public and get the public's sentiment or perspective on what the priorities are, and what potential next steps might be made. And then we'll make recommendations to the steering committee, which they'll review and revise, and we'll work together on refining, and those will go to city council on what the next steps might be.
In attempting to answer what problem or question?
Well, the specific plan was approved and needed in 1989. So are there new input? Are there new data? Is there new needs or wants and opportunities that the city should be taking care of through their land use policy that they're not? Opportunities are missing. So we reached out to we interviewed 93 people.
Out here or
Marinship.
Citywide?
And then in the Marinship, okay. Yeah. And then on the 20th, or Thursday, we've got a meeting with landowners. So we reached out to all 60 or 70 landowners in the Marinship, advised them that we'd be available to take comment on what they think should be done between 5 and 7. Just kind of get their input. So came into this, we were kind of expecting more of a black and white. I think there should be housing, or I don't think there should be housing, or I think there should be. And it actually turned out to be much more nuanced. People really understand what. They admitted, or they appeared to understand what the implications of their, perspective or their opinion might be. We want more housing or more visitor-serving uses, but we don't want to. That said, we don't want to affect the affordability. We don't want, this Marinship to become unaffordable, and we don't want to affect this kind of cool quilt work or patchwork vibe that we have here, which it was obvious that citizens really valued that funky. So it's kind of cool. We do a lot of that. We have a cultural anthropologist on board, and we do a lot of community engagement. You can systemize it or scientize it. The human mind. When you talk about an issue, the things that are most important to you over time, or across across a universe, a sample set, the things that are most important will come out first, and the things that are most important to you, you'll say most often. And if you can record those over time, use a survey instrument, and address each respondent with that same system, then you're likely to get the best perspective of the audience or the sample. Use that system to go back and find the same conclusion if you apply those same methods and questions. We're kind of expecting more of a black and white. I think there should be housing, or I don't think there should be housing, or I think there should be. And it actually turned out to be much more nuanced. People really understand what. They admitted, or they appeared to understand what the implications of their, perspective or their opinion might be. We want more housing or more visitor-serving uses, but we don't want to. That said, we don't want to affect the affordability. We don't want this Marinship to become unaffordable, and we don't want to affect this kind of cool quilt work or patchwork vibe that we have here, which it was obvious that citizens really valued that funky. So it's kind of cool. But once you gain, they're cool in that once you gain their respect. They acknowledge it.
All right. Free to come off. The easiest place is in the back.